Good afternoon, everyone.
Charles.
I'm Charles Payne. This is Making Money from the Money Show Conference in Dallas. You know, I got to tell you, think about this. The most interesting aspect of the stock market's reaction to quote-unquote uncertainty. When we approach a crosswalk, particularly, let's say, a street without traffic lights, there's always additional risk, right? Then if there's heavy traffic, there's even more risk. And then if it's rush hour, there's even more risk. All of that adds up to significant uncertainty. And in some cases, we find an alternative route. Of course, the stock market's the opposite, right? The hits to this market are akin to running into that traffic head on during the height of rush hour. In other words, folks, the market is acting with certainty that the corporate bottom lines are going to be slammed. So the question is for investors, at what point is the damage so excessive that maybe, even though it doesn't feel like the coast is clear, maybe it will be? Now, a lot of this comes down to hopes with President Trump. Maybe as far as that Trump put, that's starting to fade here because, well, listen, this is just one of the posts from today. He remains steadfast. He says, ignore the markets. The boom will come later. And a lot of sophisticated investors believe that because it's worked over 200 years. It's happened. But in the midst of it, it does not feel that well. Meanwhile, hopes for a Powell put had gained some momentum going into a speech today. Of course, we had the jobs report, the CME Fed tool. That jumped, by the way, from 4 to 5 rate cuts this year. About 2 weeks ago, it was down to 2. So the move really here after the jobs report came in above consensus. The U3 number at 4.2%. The street thought it was 4.1%. Thought maybe that would give Powell some cover. It really didn't. Most professional market mavens say that the Fed really can't come to the rescue because of the threat of inflation. But think about this. Bond yields are tumbling. I also find puzzling what's happening with inflation swaps. Commodities are crashing. So I'm not sure.